to know where to get some alternative views and coverage from, right? So I'm going to put this very important sign on the front here so that you will be aware that GRITtv exists, and we're not only online, although you can get us whenever you want. Isn't that fun? You can get us in the morning, you can get us in the evening, whenever you want. It is on your demand. There are some things you can get free on demand, and GRITtv is one of them. You can get GRITtv anytime you want at GRITtv.org. You got a pencil? GRITtv.org. You can also watch it in Manhattan on Channel 67 every night at 8, right after Democracy Now! And we're getting to cable stations and public television stations all over the country, so tell your friends. I'm going to talk about the power of the media, because I am fed up by the media coverage that we are getting of this moment. I want to take you back 1 week. Was it only 1 week when you had the dueling national security speeches? Do you remember that? And Barack Obama, Jeremy's completely right. People want to believe in Barack Obama. I did a whole book in 2006. It came out in 2007 called Blue Grit. And it was about a rising tide of progressive folks who realized the Democratic Party sucked and they had to do something about it. And a lot of them looked at the options and they said, well, you know what, we're just going to bite the bullet, we're going to get involved in electoral politics one way or another. And they ran for local office and they did local action and they were effective in helping to change things at the local level where they live. It had an effect on the 2006 congressional races. And when it came to 2008, the reason that Barack Obama won and Hillary Clinton didn't win the nomination, it was because he understood what was there to be tapped into. Did he create a progressive movement? No, a progressive movement created him. And they wanted better than that. So when I think about what Jeremy said about the importance and the urgency of a radical critique right now, it's because I'm thinking of those people who put their hopes and their dreams into this guy and the possibility of change. Were they stupid to do that? No, our media tells us that's what politics is. You pick one guy once every 4 years, and it's almost always a guy, and you give them your vote and then you go home. Right? So I don't blame people for thinking it's all about that guy. I do work every day at GRITtv to remind them that it's actually about we the people. People want to believe in Barack Obama, right? They want to believe because they want life to change in their lives and in their communities. It's not just about changing personnel in the White House, it's about changing their reality where they live. And they listened to the speech that Barack Obama gave a week ago, and they heard some great stuff. The trouble is they heard a lot of contradictory stuff. He says one thing and he does another, but in fact he says both things. In that one speech, he lifted up America's timeless ideals, right? He also called for timeless detention. You can't do both. He paid homage to the rule of law, but he said we may still need some special tribunals. You can't do both. He said we're going to reclaim the Constitution, but he's still talking about juries for some and not for others, and judges for some and not for the rest. He's still not pushing for a special prosecutor. He's saying, well, wait and see. You can't have the Constitution and special courts for some. They had that in colonial England. The Constitution was supposed to get rid of all that stuff. That's why a lot of people like me went from there to here. You can't have special treatment and special courts and equality for all. All people created equal. And Barack Obama said the problem, one of his most powerful lines was the problem of Guantanamo is not the closing of Guantanamo, because that's the problem that's been problematized in the media. He said it's not the closing of Guantanamo, it was the opening of Guantanamo. And of course, on one level, he's right. But it's a cop-out because the problem is also the closing of Guantanamo. If it doesn't also mean the closing of all the other black sites, so-called, and why are they always called black when they're supposed to be bad? The closing of all those other black sites all across the world. The conversation we need to be having is about the problems in Barack Obama's plan. But I went on MSNBC last week to talk about this very thing, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and there's no room to talk about the problems of Barack Obama's plan, because we have to talk about Dick Cheney. And where are all the speeches of Al Gore broadcast live when he was the former vice president? Why are we listening to Dick Cheney? And why is MSNBC and CNN all giving him live airtime for his speeches? And why is he making them? We're feeding into it every time we allow the discussion to be between Barack Obama and Dick Cheney.
Right.
But where do we go for the rest? Dick Cheney gets away with talking about having kept us safe. Who's the us, Dick? Not us people in Afghanistan, not us people in Palestine, not us people in Iraq. And I said last week, because it was the week before, or 2 weeks ago, the week before Memorial Day, I said, kept us safe? Tell that to the mourning families on Memorial Day. Didn't keep them safe. And this week I would say, tell that to the people of Wichita, Kansas.
Right.
I went back and looked. We've had a Department of Homeland Security, right? Homeland, don't you feel better? We've had a Department of Homeland Security, bigger and bigger, more and more money. What was the FBI's #1 domestic terror threat this time last year? And it had been for years. Anybody know?
Yeah, abortion clinics.
Eco-terrorism. And when Barack Obama put together a report, the Department of Homeland Security put out a report on domestic terror threats, and it actually went so far as to include people like those who killed Dr. George Tiller, and that guy did not act alone. When they put groups like that and white supremacist groups like the Freemen and the Aryan Nation, all the rest in that list, well, believe it or not, surprise, surprise, they got flack from right-wing crazy people. His trouble is all those right-wing crazy people are on television every night. So what did the Barack Obama administration do? Back away from their report. How do they look now? Stupid. So I want to go back to the beginning tableau that we saw. And I'm not a member of the RCP, I'm not a member of World Can't Wait, but I thank you for doing what you do. It's ridiculous that this is decided. And I've been moved every time I've seen those people at demonstrations all across this country for the last however many years it is, it's too many years. So I want to thank you for being everywhere you have been and being here tonight. And I want us to think about those hooded men and women. We can't allow ourselves to be hooded. We cannot decide that it is easier to just put on the hood. And we can't allow our friends to do it either. Peter was absolutely right. July 4th is coming up, but don't wait till July 4th. There are a lot of people out there who just don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. And I am afraid it is up to you to be the communicator. For all those people in hoods, it's up to you to communicate. It's up to you to ask the questions. It's up to you to carry the stories. You may love Keith Olbermann, you may love Rachel Maddow, but they're not going to do it for you. Honestly, they're not. And as easily as they brought us some slightly more progressive programming on MSNBC, so they can also take it away. We have to make our own media. We have to develop our own megaphones. We have to connect with each other, leverage our support where we have it, which is laterally, not vertically. Connect with each other, support media that you care about. Don't be hooded. Speak up. Thanks.